Yoo Joon, a young student who is seen by his peers as the epitome of success, attends a prestigious university with a competitive spirit. Always smiling and friendly, he seems to be the ideal for his classmates. His life at first glance looks like a bright postcard popular among the students. He is always in the center of attention, participating in university events and easily making new acquaintances. However, no one realizes that this sunny exterior hides a complex inner world full of pain and loneliness. Yoo Joon has been used to being expected to do his best since childhood. His family, especially his strict father, always set high goals for him, and the boy learned to live up to those expectations from an early age. Memories of his childhood come back to him in waves, reminding him of the constant pressure his loved ones put on him. Eager to live up to his parents' expectations, he learned to hide his true feelings behind a mask of friendliness and charm. There is a deep sense of dissatisfaction inside of him that only intensifies when he is alone with himself. Yoo Joon doesn't allow himself to relax for a moment, fearing that if he shows weakness, everything he's worked so hard to build will crumble in an instant. One day, on his way to university, Yoo Joon accidentally runs into Nam Soo Hyun, a senior student whose life is starkly different from his own. Nam Soo Hyun is a cynical and reserved young man who prefers to keep to himself. He has no interest in popularity or socializing with other students, preferring to stay in the shadows. Unlike Yoo Joon, who is surrounded by attention, Nam Soo Hyun lives a quiet and inconspicuous life, immersed in his studies and work. There is no room for frivolous conversations or friendly get-togethers because every minute counts. Nam Soo Hyun works several part-time jobs to support himself and his family, and in this struggle for survival he has long since stopped believing in friendship and sincerity. When Yoo Joon tries to connect with Nam Soo Hyun, his expectations are shattered by an icy wall of alienation. Nam Soo Hyun, who is used to keeping everyone at a distance, sees Yoo Joon's attempts to get close to him as suspicious. He doesn't understand why someone like Yoo Joon would want to be friends with him and tries to avoid him. Yoo Joon, despite his cold attitude, doesn't back down. He is attracted to this aloof and unapproachable student, in whom he begins to see a reflection of his own hidden feelings. Nam Soo Hyun, though he tries to stay away, begins to notice that Yoo Joon isn't as simple as he seems at first glance. Perhaps there is something more behind that smile and popularity. Parallel to these events, Kim So-bin, a student who strives to succeed in her studies and life, lives and studies in a university environment. She is hardworking and responsible, trying to be a good student and fulfill her parents' expectations. On the surface, she appears confident and focused on her studies, but inside she is constantly troubled by anxiety. So-bin feels a lot of pressure from her family to do her best. This pressure leads her to doubt her abilities and fear the future. She tries to build a clear plan for her career, but the fear of failure constantly haunts her. In the first episode, she is faced with choosing her future and career, which causes her great anxiety and makes her wonder if she is really on the right path. The lives of the other university students are also full of their own problems and anxieties. In one episode, we see how other students, each in their own way, deal with the pressures and expectations. Some openly share their worries, while others, like Yoo Joon, hide their feelings behind masks. In this simmering cauldron of emotions and expectations, the story of the main characters gradually unfolds as they find themselves at a crossroads in their lives. Yoo Joon, despite his outward confidence, is often alone. He hides his pain and fears behind his usual smile, but when there is no one around, that smile fades and his true face comes out, the face of a man tired of the constant tension. In one of the scenes in the first episode, Yoo Joon is alone in his room and looks at himself in the mirror. His eyes reveal a deep sadness that he can't and won't show to others. He feels that his life is becoming an endless race where he must constantly prove his worth, but he can't relax for a moment. Nam Soo Hyun, on the other hand, although he is independent and confident, also suffers from internal struggles. His life is full of difficulties and he is used to relying only on himself. He doesn't believe in friendship and prefers to solve his problems alone. However, his tough character is not just a mask, but the result of years of struggle for survival. Inside, he also feels loneliness, but he does not allow himself to open up to others, considering it a weakness. Kim So-bin, despite her outward poise, is also going through a difficult period. Her constant striving for perfection leads her to doubt herself. She fears that she will not be able to live up to her parents' expectations and make the right choices in life. Her fear of the future grows stronger, and she doesn't know how to deal with it. Gradually, a strange bond begins to form between Yoo Joon and Nam Soo Hyun. They both realize that despite their external differences, their inner worlds are similar. Yoo Joon finds in Nam Soo Hyun the honesty and sincerity that he himself has been missing for a long time. Despite his reluctance to get close to others, Nam Soo Hyun begins to realize that Yoo Joon is not as simple and superficial as he seems. His persistence and attempts to connect with others irritate Nam Soo Hyun at first, but gradually he begins to wonder why Yoo Joon is trying so hard. What's really bothering him? Could there be something more behind his friendly smile and charm? Yoo Joon, on the other hand, sees Nam Soo Hyun as someone who isn't afraid to be himself, even if it means alienating those around him. There's something about that attracts Yoo Joon like a magnet. He wants to unravel Nam Soo Hyun's mystery, to understand what's behind his coldness and aloofness. Yoo Joon sees him not only as a challenge, but also as an opportunity to finally find someone who can understand him without masks and pretense. This mutual interest begins to manifest itself in small things. Yoo Joon is increasingly looking for an excuse to talk to Nam Soo Hyun, even if the conversations are short and sometimes unpleasant. Nam Soo Hyun, though repulsed by him, begins to pick up on moments when Yoo Joon accidentally gives away his true nature, the one that is different from what others see. Gradually, the characters begin to cross paths not only on campus but also off campus. One such moment is when Yoo Joon accidentally sees Nam Soo Hyun working the night shift at a cafe. This revelation shocks Yoo Joon. He didn't know that his new acquaintance had to work hard to make ends meet. For him, this becomes yet another confirmation of how different they are, but also how similar they are in their internal struggles. Yoo Joon decides he has to help in some way, but does so clumsily, leading to another fight. Nam Soo Hyun, who is used to being independent, sees Yoo Joon's attempt to interfere in his affairs as another display of pity and arrogance. This leads to a tough conversation in which Nam Soo Hyun speaks openly to Yoo Joon for the first time about how he sees him and everyone else who he believes lives in a golden cage without worries or problems. However, this conversation also becomes a moment of epiphany for Nam Soo Hyun, who suddenly realizes that Yoo Joon may be as lonely as he is. Kim So Bin, watching the two from the sidelines, also begins to question herself and her future. Her inner conflict between her desire to be perfect and her fear of failure begins to flare up with renewed vigor. She feels that her world is also beginning to crack and seeks support, but fears that her weakness will alienate those around her. Yoo Joon continues to seek a meeting with Nam Soo Hyun, but this time he tries to act more cautious and unobtrusive. He offers to cooperate in academic affairs, knowing that they're both in the same class. Yoo Joon notices that although Nam Soo Hyun avoids social contact, he studies very hard and achieves excellent grades. However, due to time constraints, he has a hard time keeping up with all of his assignments, so Yoo Joon offers to help, this time with an emphasis on mutually beneficial cooperation. Though reluctant, Nam Soo Hyun agrees, realizing that the help can lighten his load. Gradually, they begin to spend more time together, working on projects and assignments. Despite the initial tension, a business partnership forms between them, which gradually grows into something more. Nam Soo Hyun notices that Yoo Joon is really trying to understand him and not just get another friend. This makes him reconsider his attitude towards Yoo Joon. Kim So Bin's line of work develops in parallel with this. She continues to struggle with her inner fears and pressure from her family. In one scene, she meets with her mother, who reminds her again of the importance of good grades and a successful career. This conversation increases her anxiety, and she begins to question whether she can handle the pressure. Seo Bin feels that her life is becoming a race to chase other people's expectations, and she begins to lose herself. At university, she starts to notice Yoo Joon and Nam Soo Hyun more and more, who seem so different, and yet equally lonely. She sees them gradually getting closer to each other, and it gives her mixed feelings. On the one hand, she is jealous of their newfound friendship, but on the other hand, she fears that she will be alone, without support or friends. One day, she overhears them discussing their academic difficulties and decides to approach them. Seo Bin offers her help, knowing that she can be helpful in her academic endeavors. She hopes that this will give her a chance to be a part of their small circle and perhaps find the support she so desperately needs. Yoo Joon and Nam Soo Hyun accept her offer, and so a new group of 3 is formed, and they now work together. As they work on projects together, they get to know each other better. Yoo Joon and Seo Bin gradually realize that Nam Soo Hyun's cold and aloof exterior hides not only his independence, but also his deep vulnerability. They see that he has a hard time opening up, but they also notice how he slowly begins to trust them. Nam Soo Hyun, for his part, begins to realize that his new friends really do care about him, and it gives him mixed feelings. He's not used to someone taking an interest in his life, and it makes him feel awkward. While working on a project, Seo Bin finds himself on the verge of a breakdown due to pressure from his mother. She can't concentrate and her fears of failure come to the surface. At one such moment, when she is ready to give up, Yoo Joon notices her condition and suggests taking a break. He invites her and Nam Soo Hyun to spend time together outside of school to distract and relax. They agree, and this little respite turns out to be just what they all need. They spend the evening at a cozy cafe where Yoo Joon tells stories from his childhood in an effort to lighten the mood. Seo Bin and Nam Soo Hyun listen to him with disbelief at first, but soon start laughing with him. This moment is a turning point in their relationship for the first time. They see each other not just as fellow students, but as people with whom they can share their feelings. However, the fun evening comes to an abrupt end when they talk about the future. Seo Bin, still feeling anxious, suddenly starts talking about how she is afraid of not living up to her parents' expectations. She shares her fears and worries, which comes as a surprise to everyone. Yoo Joon and Nam Soo Hyun listen to her attentively, and a special understanding develops between them at that moment. Yoo Joon realizes for the first time that his life is not so different from Seo Bin's. They both live under constant pressure and fear of not living up to expectations. After this revelation, Nam Soo Hyun also decides to share part of his story. He reveals how he was forced to grow up early and start working to help his family. He admits that because of this, he became withdrawn and learned to rely only on himself. Seo Bin and Yoo Joon are surprised by his candor, but it brings them even closer together. However, even though the evening has brought them a lot of new things, they each return home with thoughts of their own problems. Yoo Joon feels the weight of responsibility he bears to his family again. He realizes that despite his friendship with Nam Soo Hyun and Seo Bin, he still can't fully open up to them, can't allow himself to show his vulnerability. Nam Soo Hyun, despite his moments of candor, still struggles with trusting others. He's afraid that if he opens up completely, it will make him weak and vulnerable. So Bin, on the other hand, returns home with a sense of relief, but also with the realization that she still has a long way to go in learning how to handle the pressure. The characters continue to work on their projects, but now their relationship is deeper. Between them, trust is born, which becomes the basis for further development of events. However, new challenges lie ahead of them, and each of them realizes that friendship is not only support, but also the ability to accept each other's weaknesses. After a quiet evening on the rooftop of the university, the characters return to their daily routines, but a change is already felt in their relationship. As they spend time together, they begin to rely on each other more and more, which helps them cope with their problems but also creates new challenges. Nam Soo Hyun, who used to rely on himself, gradually begins to trust Yoo Joon and Seo Bin. This is unusual and even frightening for him, as he has always considered trust to be a weakness that makes him vulnerable. However, when an unpleasant incident occurs at the university involving one of his part-time jobs, Soo Hyun is suddenly thrust into the spotlight. One of his co-workers tries to frame him by accusing him of stealing. Nam Soo Hyun realizes that he could lose his job and scholarship, but despite his inner resistance, he decides to tell his friends. Yoo Joon, upon hearing about the incident, immediately offers his help. He contacts his friends at the university and finds a witness who can confirm Soo Hyun's innocence. Although Nam Soo Hyun initially resists, feeling that his pride has been hurt again, he realizes that he couldn't have done it on his own. Seo Bin also offers his support, and together they find a way to prove Nam Soo Hyun's innocence. This incident further strengthens their friendship and trust in each other. However, this event also makes Soo Hyun think about the future. He realizes that he can't just rely on part-time jobs to support himself and his family forever. He needs to make some changes in his life, but he doesn't know where to start. For the first time in his life, he feels he can confide in others and ask for advice. He discusses his thoughts with Yoo Joon and Seo Bin, and together they begin to look for ways to solve the problem. Meanwhile, Kim So Bin faces new challenges in his family. Her mother continues to exert pressure, insisting that her daughter not be distracted by unnecessary activities, but instead focus on studying for exams and her career. This pressure causes Seo Bin to begin to lose confidence in herself. She feels torn between her mother's expectations and her own determination to find her way. Yoo Joon and Nam Soo Hyun notice her depressed state and try to support her, but Seo Bin doesn't want to burden them with her problems. One night, she snaps and says that she's afraid she'll never be able to be what her mother wants her to be. Yoo Joon, who himself has long lived under the oppression of his family's expectations, understands her as well as anyone. He shares his experiences with Seo Bin, telling her how hard it has been for him to cope with the constant pressure, and how he has learned to hide his true feelings behind a mask of joy and success. He admits that he's still not sure what he's doing right, but one thing he knows for sure is that you can't let other people dictate how your life should be. These words have a profound effect on So Bin. She begins to realize that her fears and doubts are natural, and that she has the right to choose her path. This conversation becomes a turning point in her life. Seo Bin decides that she needs to try living for herself and not for others, and she begins to make small but important decisions that help her gain confidence. Yoo Joon, for his part, also begins to change. He sees that his friendship with Nam Soo Hyun and Seo Bin is not only helping them, but also helping him. He begins to realize that being himself and expressing his feelings openly is not a weakness, but a strength. He decides to gradually reveal his true thoughts and feelings to his friends, hoping that they will be able to understand and support him. However, amidst these internal changes, a new threat appears. Rumors begin to spread at the university that Yoo Joon and Nam Soo Hyun have become close friends because of some kind of benefit. These rumors are started by detractors who are jealous of Yoo Joon and his popularity. As a result, they are joined by those who believe that Nam Soo Hyun has no other reason to socialize with someone like Yoo Joon. These rumors begin to poison the atmosphere around the characters, and even Seo Bin begins to question whether there is something self-serving in their friendship. This situation becomes a serious test for their relationship. Yoo Joon, who has always been the center of attention, faces this level of negative attention for the first time. He doesn't know how to react, and it makes him feel vulnerable. Nam Soo Hyun, although used to such attacks, becomes irritated that their friendship is being questioned. Seo Bin, on the other hand, doesn't know who to trust and begins to worry that he may be at the center of the conflict. However, it is this crisis that helps them realize how important this friendship is to them. They decide to openly discuss the situation and come to the conclusion that they shouldn't let rumors ruin what they have built. Yoo Joon, Nam Soo Hyun, and So Bin agree to be honest with each other and support each other no matter what. This conversation becomes another stepping stone in their journey to a deeper understanding and support. After this conversation, they decide to show everyone that their friendship is not just a convenience or temporary thing. Yoo Joon begins to communicate more openly with Nam Soo Hyun at the university, making no secret of her intentions to be his friend. Nam Soo Hyun, though still reserved, no longer avoids Yoo Joon and even allows himself to smile in his presence. Seo Bin, feeling confident in their friendship, also begins to actively support their initiatives. These actions do not go unnoticed, and gradually the rumors begin to subside. The students begin to realize that there is nothing self-serving about this friendship, and that Yoo Joon, Nam Soo Hyun, and Seo Bin truly value each other. Moreover, their resilience and determination become an example to the other students, who begin to respect them for their honesty and mutual support. Yoo Joon decides to become actively involved in student life, using his popularity to draw attention to important social issues. He organizes a fundraising campaign for a local homeless shelter, which causes a lot of backlash at the university. The campaign becomes successful, but it also begins to take up a lot of Yoo Joon's time and energy. He has to sacrifice personal time and his studies to cope with organizing events and recruiting participants. This begins to affect his relationship with Nam Soo Hyun and Seo Bin, who begin to notice that Yoo Joon is increasingly busy and pays less attention to his friends. Nam Soo Hyun, while recognizing the importance of Yoo Joon's work, begins to feel neglected and ignored. His own problems with work and school begin to pile up, and he finds himself struggling to combine all of his responsibilities. At first he tries to support Yoo Joon, but soon his patience wears thin and he decides he has to express his feelings. Meanwhile, Seo Bin, seeing that her friends are stressed out, decides to take over some of the organizational work for the campaign. This decision of hers, although intended to help her friends, leads to her own stress and pressure. She feels that her own problems and desires go unnoticed amidst all the chaos. So Bin begins to look for ways to relieve the pressure and make time for herself, which becomes her priority. Seo Bin decides to step in to try and fix the situation. Though she herself is stressed about her role in the campaign, she realizes that it is necessary to restore harmony to their group. She tries to mediate between Yoo Joon and Nam Soo Hyun, offering to organize meetings and discussions from time to time. In these discussions, Seo Bin actively tries to find out what exactly is bothering each of them and suggests solutions. Seo Bin also begins to notice that her own problems are beginning to merge with those of her friends. She tries to deal with the pressure from her mother and keep a balance between studying and organizing activities. This becomes even more difficult when her own feelings start to weigh on her. She decides to seek help from her older brother, who works as a psychologist. Her brother helps her sort out her feelings and moods, which gives Seo Bin new strength and insight on how to cope. One day, Seo Bin, Yoo Joon, and Nam Soo Hyun have a meeting at a cafe to openly discuss their feelings. This meeting has an intense atmosphere where they each open up and share their experiences. Yoo Joon confesses that his desire to help others and campaign stems from his fear that he won't be able to find his place in life and bring something meaningful to the table. Nam Soo Hyun explains that his anger and resentment comes from feeling betrayed because he feels left behind. Seo Bin talks about his pressure from his parents and his fear of his own future. This conversation, though difficult, becomes a pivotal moment for their relationship. They begin to understand each other better and promise to work on supporting each other despite their personal problems. This understanding helps them ease the tension and begin to rebuild trust. A new problem looms on the horizon, however, as the university begins inspections for academic standards. During the inspection, it is discovered that several students, including Yoo Joon, have been accused of manipulating exam grades. These accusations begin to affect Yoo Joon's reputation and his campaign. Nam Soo Hyun and Seo Bin decide to support Yoo Joon in this difficult situation. Seo Bin, in addition to his academic duties, takes on some of the work of defending Yoo Joon's reputation by talking to teachers and gathering evidence of his innocence. Nam Soo Hyun, although worried that Yoo Joon might be in a difficult situation, also becomes actively involved, helping to gather the necessary documents and information to refute the accusations. As they struggle to prove Yoo Joon's innocence, they encounter serious obstacles and opposition from some students and faculty members who are interested in discrediting Yoo Joon's campaign. This creates even more tension in their relationship and requires even more effort and endurance from them. A visit from Seo Bin's older brother, who helps them with legal matters, becomes a key moment. He acts as a consultant and helps prepare materials for Yoo Joon's defense. This becomes an important moment for Seo Bin as she sees how her family is actively involved in solving her problems. Through the efforts of Seo Bin's friends and family, Yoo Joon manages to prove her innocence. The university apologizes, and the campaign receives new recognition for her positive contributions to society. However, the experience leaves Yoo Joon, Nam Soo Hyun, and Seo Bin feeling tired and disappointed, but also strengthens their faith in the power of friendship and mutual support. After clearing Yoo Joon's name, he decides to take a break from his active work and focus on his studies and personal relationships. He realizes that his campaign, while successful, has put a lot of pressure on his life and health. Nam Soo Hyun, despite having supported Yoo Joon, begins to face new challenges. His job becomes even more stressful, and he begins to have problems with financial difficulties. This causes him to start looking for additional part-time jobs, making his life even more difficult. Soo Hyun feels that his efforts are not being rewarded, and his work begins to take up more and more of his time and energy. Seo Bin is also experiencing difficulties in his life. The pressure from her mother doesn't let up, and Seo Bin feels increasingly overwhelmed. She begins to realize that her own desires and dreams are beginning to dissolve into the expectations and demands of her family. Seo Bin decides that she needs to take an important step to change her life, but doesn't know where to start. During one of her meetings with friends, Seo Bin opens up to Yoo Joon and Nam Soo Hyun about her plans and desires. She says that she wants to find a way to balance her own dreams and her family's demands and asks for their help and support. Yoo Joon and Nam Soo Hyun understand her situation and decide to help her find solutions. Nam Soo Hyun suggests that Seo Bin consider creating her own project that will combine her interests and desires. He shares with her an idea on how she can start her own business, which could be the beginning of a new career. Yoo Joon, though still unsure of his own plans, supports Seo Bin and offers to help her develop the idea and find the necessary resources. A plot twist occurs when Seo Bin starts working on her own project, which involves organizing student activities and cultural events. This becomes a way for her to express her ideas and be recognized for her efforts. Seo Bin finds support from Yoo Joon and Nam Soo Hyun, who help her organize and promote her ideas. While developing her project, Seo Bin faces her first major problem: financial difficulties. Organizing events is costly, and Seo Bin discovers that she doesn't have enough money to carry out all her plans. Yoo Joon and Nam Soo Hyun decide to help Seo Bin by offering their resources and contacts. Yoo Joon uses her popularity and connections in the student body to find sponsors and partners for Seo Bin's event. Nam Soo Hyun, despite his financial difficulties, finds ways to help with organizing and recruiting volunteers. As they prepare for the event, a new tension arises between the friends. Yoo Joon and Nam Soo Hyun begin to notice that Seo Bin is taking on too much responsibility and not taking their opinions into account. Seo Bin, for her part, feels that her ideas and efforts are not being recognized, and this leads to a new conflict. One day, in the midst of the preparations, a crisis arises. One of the key partners refuses to support the event, jeopardizing the event. Seo Bin, Yoo Joon, and Nam Soo Hyun find themselves on the verge of a breakdown and are forced to find a way out of the situation. This crisis becomes a moment of truth for their friendship, and they must work together to solve the problem and save the project. During the nightly talks and preparations for the event, the characters reopen their feelings and fears to each other. Seo Bin confesses that she feels overwhelmed and doesn't know how to handle the pressure. Yoo Joon and Nam Soo Hyun also open up, explaining how their own problems and fears affect their behavior. This conversation helps them find common ground and realize that they can handle any difficulties if they work together. They decide to put aside their differences and focus on solving the problem. As a result of their work and efforts together, the event is successful and Seo Bin is recognized for his efforts. After Seo Bin's successful event, the characters begin to return to their normal lives, but each of them are still dealing with the aftermath of recent events. Seo Bin, thanks to her successful project, begins to gain recognition and respect among the students and teachers, but she also faces new challenges. Her project becomes quite popular, and she begins to receive requests to organize events from various groups. This becomes both a blessing and a curse for her as she feels the pressure and challenges again. Yoo Joon, after Seo Bin's project becomes a success, decides to reevaluate his own priorities. He begins to feel that his involvement in social activities is distracting him from his studies and personal life. Yoo Joon realizes that he needs to find a balance so that he doesn't lose control of his own goals and relationships with his friends. Nam Soo Hyun, meanwhile, continues to struggle with financial difficulties. Despite his friend's successes, his job remains stressful, and he is still looking for ways to improve his financial situation. Soo Hyun begins to think about the possibility of getting a scholarship or additional grants, but he runs into bureaucratic hurdles and competition. In the middle of the series, an important event occurs. The university holds a big annual ball. This ball becomes an opportunity for students to showcase their achievements and strengthen their social ties. Seo Bin, Yoo Joon, and Nam Soo Hyun decide to attend the ball, hoping that it will help them relax and gain new perspectives. At the ball, they each face personal and social challenges. Seo Bin discovers that her project is attracting the attention of people who want to use her work for their own purposes. Her realization that her project has become commercial causes her internal conflict. Yoo Joon, despite his desire to support community initiatives, feels isolated and uncomfortable among the other students. He discovers that many of his old acquaintances are beginning to evaluate him only through the prism of his social activities, rather than as a person. Nam Soo Hyun encounters several difficult situations at the ball when his former co-workers from work begin to discuss his financial difficulties and blame him for not being able to handle the situation. This causes Soo Hyun to have deep feelings of shame and failure, and he begins to doubt his abilities. Seo Bin, Yoo Joon, and Nam Soo Hyun feel devastated and realize that they need to change something in their lives to cope with internal conflicts and external difficulties. They decide to rethink their projects and goals in order to move forward. Seo Bin, seeing how her project has been victimized by commercial interests, decides to change its direction. She realizes that she needs to bring back the primary purpose of supporting cultural and educational initiatives. Seo Bin decides to completely redesign her project, focusing on improving access to educational resources and cultural activities for students. In this episode, we see Seo Bin spending a lot of time at her desk analyzing the feedback she received at the ball. She consults with professionals in the field of cultural and educational programs to get new ideas and recommendations. Seo Bin also begins working on a new format for events that will include free workshops, lectures, and exhibits for students. Seo Bin holds a meeting with the volunteer team to discuss new ideas and assign responsibilities. During this meeting, she demonstrates her vision for the new project and inspires the volunteers to work with renewed vigor. They begin to actively plan and prepare for the launch of the new event format, which adds to Seo Bin's confidence and motivation. Yoo Joon, after realizing that his social activities are beginning to consume his life, decides to take a break and focus on his personal development and studies. He starts taking art and sports classes to find a balance between his community initiatives and his personal interests. In one scene, Yoo Joon enrolls in a painting class, which has always interested him. He starts working on his own paintings, which helps him relax and express his feelings. In a parallel storyline, Yoo Joon also starts playing sports, enrolling in the university basketball team. These activities become a way for him to relieve stress and find a new purpose in life. Yoo Joon meets with a mentor who helps him define his long-term goals and develop a plan to achieve them. They discuss how to combine his community initiatives with his personal interests and career goals. This counseling gives Yoo Joon new ideas and strategies to move forward, which helps him gain clarity on his plans. Nam Soo Hyun, despite his ongoing financial difficulties, finds support and motivation in a new startup he begins to develop. He decides to create a platform to help students find career opportunities and develop professional skills. This project becomes not only a financial opportunity for him, but also a way for him to express his ideas and help other students. Nam Soo Hyun meets with potential investors and partners to discuss his startup and get financial support. He gives presentations and discussions to show how his project can benefit students and create new career opportunities. Nam Soo Hyun is actively working on creating a business plan and finding a team to realize the project. In parallel, Nam Soo Hyun faces new challenges, competition in the market, and the need to meet high standards. He feels that his financial difficulties and personal problems are starting to pile up, but he decides not to give up and keep working on his project. Seo Bin and Yoo Joon help him prepare his presentations and provide him with advice on how to improve his business plan. These scenes emphasize the importance of their friendship and support during difficult times. Seo Bin presents her redesigned project, which now includes new educational programs and cultural activities. She talks about her vision and goals, emphasizing how her project can help students and make positive changes in university life. Yoo Joon presents his social project, which aims to improve community welfare through organizing events and supporting social initiatives. He shares his plans and achievements, explaining how his project can impact society. Nam Soo Hyun presents a startup that helps students find career opportunities and develop professional skills. He emphasizes the importance of his project to students by explaining how it can improve their career prospects. The competition is intense, and the characters face off against competitors who have more resources and experience. However, thanks to their efforts and sincerity, they receive positive feedback from the jury. Although they do not win the grand prize, their projects are recognized and supported. Seo Bin, Yoo Joon, and Nam Soo Hyun's lives return to a normal rhythm, although the consequences of their successes and trials still have a significant impact on their lives. The characters begin to adapt to the new realities and continue their journey, overcoming new challenges and discovering new opportunities. After successfully opening a cultural and educational center, So Bin faces a new wave of responsibility and challenges. The opening of the center has attracted the attention of not only students and teachers, but also local government and businessmen. So Bin receives many requests for cooperation and support, which requires her to be able to manage her time and resources. She begins to actively work on expanding the programs and activities offered by the center. So Bin organizes a series of free workshops and lectures, inviting renowned speakers and experts in various fields. These events become popular among students and youth, helping the center gain popularity and receive positive feedback. At the same time, Seo Bin begins to face new challenges. She needs to learn how to manage the budget, coordinate volunteers, and deal with issues related to organizing events. She finds support from experienced colleagues and mentors who help her adapt to new challenges. One day, when So Bin is holding a meeting with important partners and potential sponsors, she meets a former colleague from the startup who now works for another organization. This incident gets her thinking about possible new projects and ideas. Seo Bin begins to explore opportunities to create new educational programs and cultural initiatives that can further impact the community. Yoo Joon, after successfully presenting his social initiative, decides to focus on creating a more harmonious balance between his social activities and personal life. He continues to take painting classes and sports, but now he also starts working on new projects that combine his hobbies and social initiatives. Yoo Joon is starting to organize exhibitions of his paintings and art events that attract public attention and promote cultural initiatives. He also organizes art events for local communities to support talented artists and cultural projects. Among Yoo Joon's new projects comes the idea of creating an art studio that will provide a space for young artists to create and learn. He begins working on this project, assembling a team and developing a business plan. Yoo Joon faces financial and organizational difficulties, but his perseverance and the support of his friends help him overcome these obstacles. In parallel, he continues his involvement in community activities, helping to organize events and supporting social initiatives. His work attracts the attention of community organizations and local authorities, which helps him make new connections and collaborations. Nam Soo Hyun, after a successful presentation of his startup, faces new challenges to realize his project. His startup begins to attract the attention of investors, and Soo Hyun starts working on creating a full-fledged career development platform for students. However, despite positive feedback, he faces challenges related to the technical aspects of development and competition in the market. Soo Hyun continues to work hard to improve his platform by recruiting talented developers and marketers to create a quality product. An important step for Soo Hyun becomes building partnerships with universities and career centers to ensure students have access to resources and opportunities. He is beginning to offer workshops and trainings focused on career skills development, which helps him build strong relationships in the educational environment. Soo Hyun is also actively working to expand his team by hiring new employees and bringing in consultants. His startup is beginning to be recognized in the media and at conferences, which is contributing to its growth and development. Soo Hyun realizes that his project can make a difference in the lives of many students, and this motivates him to keep working to improve it. After they all begin to overcome their new challenges and reach new goals, the characters continue to support each other. Seo Bin, Yoo Joon, and Nam Soo Hyun get together to discuss their accomplishments and plans. They spend the evening at their favorite cafe discussing the successes and challenges they have overcome. During the meeting, Seo Bin talks about their new educational initiatives and plans to expand their center. Yoo Joon shares her experiences at art events and talks about her new art studio. Nam Soo Hyun shares the accomplishments of his startup and new partnerships. They also discuss their personal changes and development. Seo Bin talks about how her project has helped her become more confident and organized. Yoo Joon notes how he has learned to find a balance between his personal life and social activities. Nam Soo Hyun talks about how his startup became not only a business but also a way to help others.